Dzień dobry, assalamu alaikum, bonjour. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Ken at 10, how are you today? If you haven't been before and you're wondering what on earth's going on, well, this is Ken at 10, and because it's 10 and I'm Ken, we're James Alexander Estate Agents based in southwest London, Norbury. And if you're wondering where that is, as most people do, we spend our lives telling people this, it's situated slap bang between Streatham and Croydon. And we talk about all things property and general stuff, really. So how are you today? Hope you're well. We broadcast live every day at 10, every weekday, and just talk about the market and what's going on. Data from one of the biggest agencies in the UK, Knight Frank, suggests the number of UK exchanges last month was the highest for 10 years, which is well above even the late 2020 previous peak. The figure for March 2021 was 9% above the second highest month, December, and 12% higher than March 16. And one of the head analysts there, Tom Bill, says that in broad terms, the strengthening of the economy and gradual return to normality are playing a key role. And certainly we would echo that. Obviously, everyone's worried and wondering how much of a cliff edge the June deadline will be. That remains to be seen and is of interest to everyone. Having said that, we're right at the peak point of the release now, aren't we? It's really exciting to see next week. We've got the hairdressers reopening. The pub garden around the corner from here in Wetherspoons is reopening, and that's nice to see. Thinking about people being out and about again, really optimistic to see that. And hopefully with that unwinding and the success of our hugely successful vaccination program here in the UK having an impact as well, confidence is returning to the general population, to the business community, and to the housing market as well. And I do think this will have an offsetting factor and hopefully should keep the market progressing after the June deadline. I think a lot of people now that I'm speaking to are quite realistic and pragmatic about this deadline. And, obviously if you're starting to think about selling now, it's very tight. You need to make sure all your ducks are in a row and things are really well organized if you intend to beat that deadline, because chances are, frankly, you won't. And any agent that's telling you otherwise is lying to you. But you always hear the truth here at JA, always. It's my birthday today. What did you get me? 57 years young, and things are going well today. Tonight we're actually going to be negotiating on one of the largest houses in southeast London, hopefully selling that for a very, very large price of £4 million, and looking forward to that viewing. And we can't really show you anything about that because it's an off-market sale. This is something that happens quite regularly, is that people approach us and say, we'd like to sell our house, but actually we want it to be done very low-key. And these days with the likes of Zoopla and Rightmove, everything is so public, and certain clients don't want that publicity. They want to sell under the radar, and they want to do it in a way that's discreet and subtle, which we can do for you. It doesn't all have to be about placing your property on the internet and looking at that side of the market. There are people that approach us from all corners of the world, in fact. We have a buyer recently from Hong Kong that's not going to see the property that they're buying. We've done it by a video, and basically they've seen the presentation video and bought on the back of that. And because of the quarantine in and out of Hong Kong, plus the quarantine here in the UK, the work that they do means they just don't have that time available. So they're buying literally blind, apart from the floor plans, photographs and video. So there are sales out there that can happen even without viewings, believe it or not. And this is happening more and more now as people are approaching us and saying, look, can we have a video valuation, and can we think about off-market marketing, if you will? And that means just approaching people that might be interested, knowing where they are and how to source them. And we also act for buyers, where buyers will sometimes approach and retain us in order to search for them and look for homes locally, sometimes in central London, sometimes elsewhere. And that's always interesting as well, because you get a real flavour of how the market differs. If you look at places like Devon and Cornwall right now, it's off the scale, it's incredible, and the jump in prices has been really quite remarkable. And you look at central London and it's quite a different story. Things are struggling a bit. So it's a really mixed market at the moment. It does depend exactly the price range you're looking at as to what the market is doing. Apart from that, busy day on valuations today as well, which is nice to see. And generally the lettings market is starting to open up again. Notice a lot more inquiries coming through from people looking to rent, both locally here in SW16 and in London too. So it's nice to see that opening up again. It's a bit of a relief, frankly, because landlords have been taking a bit of a hit on their prices due to the pandemic, and now things are releasing, employment's coming back a bit. There will always be winners and losers in this kind of environment, and that's what we're experiencing at the moment. We're finding that people tend to fall into one or two camps. The very unlucky, the ones that have lost their job or are furloughed, and it's unlikely they're going to go back to work. And the other side of the coin is people that have continued to work, continue to achieve the same income as they always have, but actually haven't had anywhere to spend their money. And that's why UK savings have gone from 50 billion to 150 billion over the pandemic. And that cash that's held back will be spent somewhere. And a lot of it will go into the UK property market, no doubt some into the stock market as well. But we are optimistic that a lot of this money will go back into places that have been undervalued recently, such as central London, where the market's been very slow due to the fact that everybody is moving to the coast or to a rural location. Well, actually, they're not. But a lot of people are, and clearly that's reflected in the price in those areas. The demand has shot up massively. But as I've said many a time, London's not a lost cause. People will always need to work here. It is the centre of employment for the UK. And also, as I've said many times, the greatest city in the world as far as I'm concerned. I don't know what you think. There are some other beautiful cities as well in the world, of course, but there's something very special about London and its history that's just not replicated anywhere in the world, in my view. So that's it for today. Hope you have a fantastic day. We'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow, we've got a couple of things going on. We've got a podcast in the morning. We've got Scott Chapman on the podcast this week. He's from Select Surveyors, and he's going to be talking all about surveys and the different kinds of survey, what to look out for, what not to worry about, what to worry about. He's a great guy, used to be an agent, then became a qualified chartered surveyor, and we've known him for many years. Very, very nice approach to surveying and nice guy. So really interested to see his take on the current market, valuation, structural surveys, what people should worry about, what they shouldn't. And that's coming up on tomorrow's podcast. So looking forward to that. And of course, not forgetting our quote of the week. And that is, if you live each day as if it were your last, then one day you will most certainly be right. I love that quote, and it does make you think we should all just do that, shouldn't we, really? Think about if this was your last day, how would you be? How would you react around your colleagues and friends? And I think it makes you a bit warmer, a bit more optimistic, and should be considered by all of us, because one day, no doubt it will be, and we never know what's coming, do we? So have a fantastic day. We'll be back same time tomorrow with another Ken at 10. Until then, stay safe and well.